sports fans, welcome back to SoCal Sports Report. I wanted to do that, like cool thing with your voice where you kind of make a different voice sound.
Hey, sports fans.
Yeah, like that, Started off a little differently. You guys have been watching for a long time. You guys are fans, and so
They need a new starting.
They need a new starting. It's something, we got to give them something new every week.
We don't have to say our names anymore.
No.
If you don't know us by now, screw you.
Yeah.
Seriously,
come on,
though.
how do you not know us? Well, if
We're
you're
famous.
Watching,
Her grandmother watches every episode.
She does. You guys need to get on the bandwagon and watch with her because she's...
A viewing party with grandma. Wow.
She's got the popcorn.
Hey, just for the record, though, I'm her favorite host.
Maybe.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
That's probably why she continues to watch.
I've never had the pleasure of meeting Daisy, but God, Daisy, you're my favorite.
Oh, yeah. And,
but if I met her in person, it would be yes, ma'am, no,
you.
ma'am.
Of course. Yeah. You gotta be professional.
Especially with old people, because they are they have a lot, they know stuff. They have lived life.
They have that experience that we don't have. But we have some experience now with SoCal Sports Report. We've been in this for a while.
I was going to say, maybe we should actually start the show now, I guess.
Yeah. So you guys know the drill. You guys know what we do. Anyways, if you don't know us, Bobby DeMuro, Ailis, Garcia. Let's start this off. We talk about LA sports. And right now we're talking about the Lakers. Jeannie Buss in a relationship with Phil Jackson. Phil Jackson took the Lakers to many championships. And now Phil Jackson is the head front office guy of the New York Knicks. Is there a conflict of interest? What does that mean?
I say no. The NBA, on the boring side of it, made him sign a document. I don't know what the document was. It's a conflict of interest document, so obviously something the NBA knows is going to happen. From a more practical side, these are two people with very important professional relationships and reputations to uphold within the league. They're two experienced people who've been doing this for a long time, and they're both have been successful. It's not like they need to cheat to get successful or whatever. So I don't think there's anything funny that's going to be going on. I know the league's going to patrol it anyways, but I don't see anything funny with these two. I maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think. I think that's kind of the story we have to talk about to say, oh well, they're in a relationship with different teams. What happens? And now that we've talked about it, it's like okay, nothing's going to happen.
Right, and Jeannie Buss also did come out because for a while she was not seen at any games. No one knew what was going on, especially with all the injuries and the Lakers. Everything's been up in the air this whole year, and finally she decides to do an interview with ESPN Radio to kind of hash it all out and let fans know what exactly is going on behind the scenes and let fans know why decisions were made and why the team is being operated a certain way and how the ownership actually breaks down between all the brothers and sisters of the Buss family. And so what was really awesome about that, if you didn't get to hear that though, is that she actually took herself out of that decision-making process because she didn't want to be that biased opinion
with Phil Jackson
to bring him on to the Lakers. And the Lakers need some help, obviously, because they're going through a lot this year. And so obviously she would like him to be a part of the Lakers, but she knew that she would bring a different perspective and a different viewpoint and opinion. So she let her brother and Mitch make that decision. Yeah,
which is probably the right decision. I know Lakers fans wanted Jackson and said, oh, well, she could have pushed her weight or whatever. I think it's actually the right decision that she stayed out of it.
Yeah.
I still wish they would have gotten Phil Jackson.
Yeah, it's a professional decision. And actually they were spotted not too long ago by TMZ. And I was actually very surprised. I watched the video and I was surprised that they actually spoke to the paparazzi and responded and were very courteous and nice. And
this is an old person thing. Old people speak to the paparazzi. Bieber runs away from us.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm
speeds away.
I'm not even because you're young and you want to look cool or whatever, but old people want to look like professional. And so
they did not take out their sunglasses and put them on. Where are your sunglasses?
I put them inside. Yeah, it's all right. Whatever.
Yeah, no, but what was really cool was that they asked him about coaching, and he said, yeah, I would like to do that, but I physically can't do that. And that, of course we would all want Phil to come back and be the coach of the Lakers because the Lakers need a new coach, but physically it's demanding, and he is better off in a suit. Yeah. In the front of the office.
Yeah, he can't. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but he can't stand on the bench every day. He can't travel that much. He can't do that. So he's not going to coach anymore, which is fine. Now, the question is, this Phil Jackson in New York thing, how heartbroken are you?
You just got to move on. and I think it's a new era. It's going to be a new era when Kobe's gone, so we'll just have to see how it plays out. And if he has to be able to be making those decisions in New York, though, because if he's just kind of like the face of it and not able to do much over there, then what's the point of even hiring him and taking him away?
See, and that's a good point. My big question was James Dolan in New York, and I know this is a California show, but this is interesting with Phil to talk about this in New York. James Dolan has meddled before with player personnel decisions and all this sort of different stuff with the Knicks. If he meddles with Phil Jackson, A, why is Phil Jackson even there? Yeah. And B, what assurance did Phil Jackson have coming in that he was going to be the sole decision maker? I know he wouldn't have come if he wasn't the guy, but is Dolan really going to hang back? Because he hasn't really in the past. Now, from the Lakers' perspective, I think it's a huge mistake they didn't go get Phil Jackson.
I mean, I still don't understand what exactly, because they didn't explain what exactly went down or what was talked about. But yeah, why wouldn't you bring him back? If in another weird world, Phil Jackson hadn't been coaching recently, and this were like 5 years ago, and Kobe had a while to play and whatever, then I can understand not getting Phil Jackson because you still have a core with Kobe and guys from several years ago. Kobe is almost done. They're going to have to rebuild however quickly that is. They're going to have to transition to this post-Kobe era, whether it's a year from now or 2 or 3. And they need somebody who knows how to make that transition and can make that transition. And theoretically, there is not too many people better than Phil Jackson at making that transition. He's not going to get that opportunity in LA right now. He has that opportunity in New York. And whether Mitch or any of these other guys can actually make that transition through Kobe to the next phase, whether it's Kevin Love or whomever, that remains to be seen. I think a lot of Laker fans would probably feel better if it was Phil Jackson doing it, though. Oh, yeah, because they love Phil. Phil's a great guy. But we're just going to have to see how that plays out, which leads into the next topic. Miami Marlins coach David Samson President, not coach. President thinks that the games are too long and that they should be shortened. What do you think about that? And I know you think he's right. How would that play out here with the Dodgers and with the Angels? Broadly speaking, if you're a baseball fan or not, he's right. Games have to get shorter. I think the Marlins played an average of 2 hours and 56 minutes in a game last year. This year, that he wants to get it down to 240. Which I think is a good time. 2.5, 240 is if you play a game in about 220, it's flying. Yeah, so which is great. 240, I'm okay with. Yeah. The question is, and I know he's doing it to get younger fans, to get casual fans. You want to get younger fans. Right now, the Marlins aren't doing so great. So win or lose, he wants to move the game along. 400 people go to every Marlins game. I mean, seriously, they have the worst attendance in the league, maybe besides Tampa. But so I understand why he's doing that. My question is, how do you do it? Because they've talked not totally seriously in the past about putting a shot clock on pitchers and saying you have 10 or 15 seconds to pitch after you get the ball back. You can't do that. That changes the game. You can't really do that. That's ridiculous. Yeah. It's not baseball. You don't have clocks in baseball. You can't do that stuff. The solution to me, because you can't do the shot clock, you can't do any of the time stuff. And with replay, the solution is you start teaching guys in the minors how to pace a game. So pitchers, throw a pitch, walk back up the mound as you get the ball back, get on the rubber, throw another pitch. Don't walk around the mound. Don't dance. And maybe you put a rule in. Maybe you say to pitchers, you can't go off the dirt in the middle of the thing. You have to stay on the physical dirt of the mound. You can't go onto the grass to go get a ball or whatever. And to the hitters, and this is done in college baseball, if you swing and miss or you foul a ball off, you are allowed to step out of the box and regroup. If you take a pitch, whether a ball or a strike, keep a foot in the box, stay there, and get in for the next pitch. And the people this really comes down to is not only minor leaguers to learn that pacing a little better, but it's umpires. I see umpires all the time who are very lackadaisical about letting guys walk around after every pitch. Keep it moving. Keep it going. This is on the umps to speed up the game and keep guys going. And it'll be great, too, because this will slowly evolve into a faster game. It's just way too long right now. The opening game, Dodgers against the Diamondbacks in Australia, 3 hours and 59 minutes. Yeah, but that was in Australian time, and Australian time converts differently than American. Totally. Those minutes, it's not 60 seconds Australian minutes are only 40 seconds a minute. Yeah, okay, good. Yeah, we're idiots. Look, here's my one problem with this evolution thing with the minor leagues, because it sounds like a good idea, and I think we'd like it, and most people would. In minor league baseball, chewing tobacco is illegal, like dip and all that sort of crap, because they wanted to get it out of Major League Baseball, and their theory was, if you get it out of minor league baseball, you bypass this next generation of guys. They won't be chewing tobacco, and we're good.
That didn't happen. Guys are coming up chewing anyways, and baseball's trying to get rid of that, but they can't. So just because you ban it, or in this case, just because you speed up the pace in the minors, doesn't mean guys don't get to the majors and revert back to an old pattern.
But I think it's different with chewing tobacco because you're still doing that outside of the game. You're still dipping outside when you're not playing. This is an actual habit that you develop inside of the game that's part of the game, and it's part of like the technicality of it, the way you play, which could be a habit that you just naturally continue on once you're brought up into the majors.
And the ridiculous thing is these guys actually play better when they speed up.
Yeah.
When you have better pace, they play better, but a lot of guys don't want to. There's Steve Traxel, famous former Cubs and Orioles and everybody else pitcher. He took forever in between pitches because that was just his pace.
Right.
And it's like, some guys are like that, and some guys just take forever because they don't know what to do or they're trying to get comfortable, but you do better when you go faster, when you just pitch and come back and pitch.
Anything in life, when you're on this momentum train, you're just going, and it's working. And in football, too, when you're playing well, they just keep the ball moving. You have to keep the game going.
I agree.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, moving on to our last topic. Speaking of another sport, Mark Cuban, face of the Dallas Mavericks, he recently commented that the NFL would decline if programming increased.
I don't agree with that oversaturation idea. That was an interesting Facebook post. He talked about concussions and Little League football and all that sort of stuff, too. It's an interesting idea.
It makes sense in theory.
Look, here's the thing to me. NFL teams and their fans specifically, in most cities, are extremely working class. Work really hard, work blue-collar jobs, go edit during the week, and then Sunday is their day to watch their team, and they're loyal as hell. Right. It's like English Premier League soccer.
And they can't wait until Sunday.
Yeah, and neither can we. But these fan bases cannot wait until Sunday. And I think if you move the games on Mondays or Tuesdays or Wednesdays or Thursdays, they're still tuning in. I don't know anybody who wouldn't tune in for that. You put a game on Saturday night, that's not oversaturation. It's just another group of people who's going to tune in.
Exactly. If you didn't know, Mark Cuban said that it would be oversaturated, that the game would be watered down if football was on every night. But if you think about it, every other sport is on every night.
Yeah.
So it just makes sense. There's no rule that says that you can only play football, can only watch football once a week. The players are still playing once a week.
Yeah, they'd still be playing a game every 7 or 10 days or whatever it is. Now, to throw a monkey wrench into this, since we kind of seem in agreement on this against Cuban, the NCAA basketball tournament, March Madness, is so exciting on that first weekend because it's 4 days of just wall-to-wall basketball, and it's upset here and upset there and all this crap's happening. Football on Sundays is that same exciting way because you're watching your team and you're picking up every score from every single other game. Or you've seen some people's setups at homes where it's like 6 TVs of games. That's exciting
like a newsroom.
Stuff. Yeah, it's exactly like a newsroom. That's exciting stuff. If you put a game or two every night, you sort of lose that Sunday all hell breaks loose kind of.
I think that might have been what he was going towards, where it's not you don't look forward just to Sunday. Now it kind of just, you get it every night. So it's not the same thing. It's kind of just, it's spread out. So there's nothing really to look forward to.
But what about here in LA? Because we don't obviously have a football team. Would oversaturation, if you played every night or whatever, would that make a difference in LA?
Well, we were talking about this off camera, but you said a lot of people in LA aren't from LA. I'm from LA, so I grew up without a football team, and now USC is my NFL football team.
This is how young she is. The Raiders and Rams didn't leave relatively that long ago, and she grew up without a football team.
Yeah, I was 4 or 5 when they left.
So what was it like being born in 2002?
Right? I know. Gosh, I only know computers. I'm a geek. What can I say? So there's a lot of transplants here in LA that with fans from different cities and fans that love different teams. And so they're still going to be watching the games regardless of what day it's on.
I think so. I agree with you. I don't agree at all with Mark Cuban, but hey. What do I know? He's just worth a few billion and I'm not.
It would be an interesting test to see how ratings would do on certain networks.
Yeah.
And we know that NFL Network plays Thursday Night Football, and so that's something that's tough too because not everybody gets NFL Network.
Yeah.
So it would be an interesting thing to see who actually tunes in and on what night. And that's what they do with TV shows. Certain shows air on a certain night because that night has more viewership and more people watching.
Yeah.
So, and we all know the Super Bowl is the most watched, TV
At the end of the day, the bottom line is this: 35 television programs last year, the most watched 35 in America, and last year 34 of them are football games.
Right.
I understand what Cuban's going with, and I get that Sunday excitement of a ton of games. But if 34 of the top 35 are football games, I don't think you have. The only oversaturation problem you have is you have too many damn fans.
Yeah.
You have too many people watching the game. Cuban may say that, hey, the NFL can't go after the casual fans if they're on all the time and jamming it down their throat. Maybe. But I don't think the NFL wants a casual fan. They want these fanatics.
Even casual fans, if I were a casual fan, I could pick up and watch a game any day that I want because it's on. So I don't think it really even matters with casual fans because a casual fan may or may not watch every day anyways. And so if it's on, it's on, and if it's not, it's not.
Yeah.
So who cares? They're not going to get upset because it's on more and it's taking away from other things. I really don't see a big deal with that. So guess that's it for today.
Yep.
You guys got a lot from us, but as always, you can catch us next week with a new SoCal Sports Report. And if you have any topics that you want us to discuss, any comments that you have,
we've had people
constructive criticism,
We've
whatever.
had people say more college sports, USC and UCLA football coming up. I know it's not fall. We can't talk about games and stuff like that yet. But spring practices just recently wrapped and stuff, so a lot to talk about. So in the coming weeks, we will be doing UCLA and USC football and stuff like that.
And we'll throw some Cal in there too, and Pepperdine for all of you fans. Anyways, I need to go learn how to speak clearly. So that's going to wrap it up. Bobby DeMuro, Ailis Garcia. We'll see you next week.